Khalid's neighborhood had grown quiet. It was a silence he measured not in decibels, but in absences. The missing chatter at the corner newsstand, the vanished scent of shared evening meals wafting through open windows, the empty stoops where neighbors once gathered to watch the world go by. Now the only constant was the hurried click of footsteps on cracked pavement, heads bowed to the glow of private screens. The map of their community was still there, but the connections between its points had faded, like a constellation obscured by city light. The idea came to him one Tuesday, as he watched young Ali from number 42 rush past old Mrs. Gupta from number 15 without a glance. It wasn't a grand plan, but a simple, stubborn image. A path of light and color, a river of shared history flowing through their concrete canyon. He would build a mosaic pathway, and every household would lay a tile. He started alone, a man with more memories than tomorrows. In his tiny workshop, surrounded by the ghosts of his old carpentry, he smashed discarded tiles, chipped plates, and colored glass into 1,000 jagged pieces. He mixed his first batch of mortar, the gray sludge seeming laughably humble against the vision in his mind. His internal conflict was a quiet, persistent whisper. You are an old man building a sandcastle against the tide. Who will care? The next morning, he set up a small table at the neighborhood's central junction, a bag of tesserae and a bucket of mortar at his feet. He didn't make a speech. He simply began laying the first tiles, forming a simple sun-yellow pattern. Mrs. Gupta was the first to stop, her curiosity overcoming her habitual reserve. Khalid Bhai, what is this, a municipality project? No, Begum, he said, not looking up from his work. It is ours, a project for the street. She watched his gnarled hands press a piece of blue glass into the adhesive. Our street is fine. Is it? Khalid asked softly, finally meeting her eyes. When was the last time you stopped to talk to someone on it? The silence that followed was more telling than any argument. After a long moment, she pointed a delicate finger at a shard of porcelain with a tiny rose pattern. My mother had a teacup like that, she said, her voice thin with memory. Could you use it? That was the first crack in the dam. Khalid showed her how to press the piece into the mortar. Her hands, usually clasped tightly together, trembled with a new purpose. The following day, young Ali paused on his skateboard. What's that, Khalid Chacha? A path, Khalid said. Want to help? We need strong arms to mix the next batch. Ali hesitated, his thumb hovering over his phone. But the lure of the messy, physical work was stronger. He abandoned his board and plunged his hands into the cool grit of the mortar, a grin breaking through his usual mask of adolescent ennui. And so it grew. The project became a slow, spreading fever. The pharmacist, Mr. Youssef, contributed broken blue vial bottles that caught the light like sapphires. The young couple from number 28, who had only ever offered polite nods, spent a whole Saturday carefully embedding sea-worn pebbles from their honeymoon. The act of creation became a conversation. They knelt side by side, their knees aching on the pavement, and talked. They discussed the best adhesive, the most durable grout, and in doing so, they discussed their worries about their children, their pride in a new job, their nostalgia for the old days. Khalid was no longer the sole architect, but the facilitator, the keeper of the vision. He moved among them a gentle conductor, offering a trowel, a word of encouragement, a glass of sweet milky tea. The initial skepticism melted away, replaced by a collective, focused energy. The air, once thick with isolation, now hummed with the sounds of tapping hammers, scraping trowels, and most importantly, laughter and easy talk. The pathway snaked forward, a meandering river of collective memory. Here was the ceramic shard from the plate broken during the Samir wedding. There was the fragment of a child's first drawing, sealed under resin. A taxi driver laid a tile from his native village. A student set a piece of quartz from a university field trip. Each tile was a story, a silent confession of a life being lived. And as they were placed side by side, the stories began to intertwine. The project's true antagonist, the pervasive modern isolation, retreated not with a bang, but with a whisper. It was defeated by the simple physical necessity of working together, by the shared goal that was as tangible as the ground beneath their feet. The day they laid the final tile, a hush fell over the group. The pathway was complete, a brilliant serpentine scar of color and light that wound through the heart of their neighborhood, connecting every door, every story. It was imperfect, uneven, and utterly beautiful. That evening, as the sun dipped below the rooftops, someone brought out chairs. Someone else started a samovar. And without anyone deciding it, they all sat, their feet resting on the mosaic they had built together. They drank tea and talked, not about work or worries, but about nothing and everything. The children ran along the path, their small fingers tracing the shapes of the tiles, learning the map of their community without even knowing it. Khalid sat back, the cool stone of the steps seeping from his thin clothes. He watched the scene, the easy companionship, the shared laughter under the emerging stars. He had set out to build a path, but he had built something far more profound. He had given them back the space between their houses, the glue that held their little constellation together. The silence was gone, replaced by the gentle rising murmur of a community rediscovering its own voice, one tile at a time.